stay there. She just ate a moth. Just munched it down. Oh. Don't kick. Don't kick. Oh, don't kick. She didn't get tendies today. When I got to the grocery store, they were just wrapping all of the deli up. I know I blew it. I got out too late. Oh, she's mad. You're mad now, right? We missed tendies. Ow, ow. Hey, that's pretty hard. Thank you. That was a little rough. So what are you going to do? You just got to eat my hand? You want to work? You want to do some work? Ow! Why so hard? Huh? It's dusty on there. Those your big teeth. She doesn't like a spray bottle of any kind. You don't like that, do you? It's cause for a pause, isn't it? So you gonna stay there? So here's the deal. I know your game. You're gonna start swatting at the first small thing you see. Dead batteries. All the way from Japan for that. In a great big box. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have done like a real nerd unboxing video for YouTube. My first unboxing. You know, so you can say this girl has got a gun. And on the back of the box, there's a picture and there's some writing. That barrel is going to be very delicate on the finished casting. I might actually put some steel wire down that in the mold and let a piece of wire be the barrel, because otherwise that would be very prone to getting knocked off. It's not food. It's not food. I know it's a wrapper. No, she thinks it's food. She hears crinkling. Is that going to be your spot? You going to lay on that paper towel? This is actually really amazing. How detailed it is. It's Japanese, I tell you, they're pretty amazing in their manufacturing. So we got a range finding scope, got a laser unit, got an ACOG. Looks like there's a foregrip. That's pretty neat. I don't really need anything in this bag. Yeah, there's some amazing Fabergé stuff. Really amazing. The eggs are unreal. I saw a guy doing, he had like I think it's like a 400,000 RPM. I mean, it's something insane. An air turbine carver, little air-powered hand carver, kind of like a Dremel, but more closer to like a dental drill. And he was carving ostrich eggs. Unbelievable. People really can do some amazing things. I have to look for that. I have to look it up. I need to order another one of these. This one's starting to malfunction a little bit. It's pretty good, but I guess it's still pretty good. they end up getting plastic inside the needle, and then they don't flow. But sometimes you can get lucky and soak them, and the plastic will dissolve. Some of those things are unreal. Old clock mechanisms and things like that, where people filed all the gears by hand. It's amazing. These are like, oh, that one's extended. All right. So we got a lower receiver, upper receiver, A2 grip. It's like a A2 carrying handle. It's nothing to eat. Oh, you were up here. Forget poor Brankman. He's impaled on a file. He got knocked over. Oh my goodness. Did you do that? Is that you're doing? Hey, there's that 2H lead I was looking for. Let's see, what else? I need one more thing. Hopefully the little pistol won't be too far behind. I'm just chilling. Sorry, I need more light. Just don't look up. All those surgical steel balls came in. I ordered from that place in Switzerland. They're for body piercing. So I ordered a bunch of bars too for making armatures. There's no way I could have ever. This whole bag was like 26 bucks shipped. There's no way I could have ever made them for all that. So I will remember that company in Switzerland. Let's see if I can zoom in with that little software control a little bit. Oh, it is. I won't be able to see anything I'm doing. Oh, look at the face. Looks so serious. Looks so serious. And I must have pulled like a tendon or ligament in my ankle. It's been sore this week. Let's see, I guess we need to start with the lower receiver. No, I tell you what happened. I blew it. I went down there, and right as I got to the deli, they were like halfway done wrapping everything up and putting everything away. Tendies were already up, so I blew it. Make sure I don't file off that mag release. Lower receiver, upper receiver. That's why they're in a cup. I probably can't even see it, but it has a little forward assist and everything on it right there. Pretty incredible. I didn't know it was going to be a bunch of little pieces. Go see what eggs is doing. Ooh, might get some dirty fingernails. Sorry. A lot of work going on here this past week. I'm really tired tonight. I can feel it. I feel it's been a long week. That's true. I was disappointed because he told me about that pink eye, and I was like, man, don't be setting it up. biggest secret to making models is to not use model glue. Model glue is shit. You want to use a water-thin plastic solvent. These little pieces, they want to just jump out of your hands and fall on the floor and disappear. 30 round mag. Definitely illegal in California. Don't get caught with one of these. It's even got a little follower on the top. Cool. It's a little bit smaller than 1/12 scale, so they're off a little bit. Not too bad though. Are you back? can tell you after all that, I don't even know if I'm going to use this, to be honest. It's a little bit under scale. And I'll look at it and see what. The biggest thing I'm concerned about is it being too fragile. So I might have to do the gun molded separately. That way, if the gun were to break, you could get a new gun and replace it, rather than having to replace the whole arm. So we'll see. All right, what are you going to do now, Nix? What did you do? What did you get into? You got a spider web on your head. Were you out in the shop? Were you hunting something under the bench? Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. She might have found a spider out in the shop. You munching? Yeah, there won't be anything alive in here. The other night I was moving a server rack out to put it in storage, and I had the door open, and we have these things called palmetto bugs. They're about this big, and they kind of look like a roach. They're not a roach though. They fly. And this big palmetto bug came flying through the door, and she dove off the ground, caught that thing in midair, and then she was just sitting there in the corner, munch, 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 munch. All the things you get fed, you want to eat a bug. All right, so little M4. Now what should we do? We can put together a real one. I need to kind of do spring weatherproofing. Oh, this one will, anything moving is done. She's been getting me a little too much lately. Getting a little rough. My hand's all chopped up again. Now what are we gonna do next? All right, tomorrow tomorrow I won't be streaming. I got an early morning appointment, afternoon errands, and then dinner with my parents. I'm going to miss a good bit of it. Unavoidable. Yeah, I'm all right with some Pete. He's definitely a fool. He's got it way too good. Those things are close. He doesn't do it. Well, he got there as a favor. He doesn't do anything. He's not funny. Somebody called in a favor. I ordered all these from a body jewelry company in Switzerland to use for armatures, for joints. They're pretty nice. Well, I was going to use these for the Cyberfrog armature, and they took so long to get here, I just did something else without them, or I'd still be waiting for them. But for the next one, I might actually build a prototype of a armature that could be sold as a kit. I got some of this 2mm carbon fiber sheet that I can probably make some clips. Might be pretty cool. Might be pretty cool. I got some 6mm and some 8mm. Well, since it's so late, I might put together that I'll just lubricate that M4, put it back together. I got all my reference photos. Gonna sit right in the middle, huh? Right in the middle. I don't know if you guys know much about AR-15, but it's meant to be field stripped using one of the rounds for a basic maintenance on the field, not heavy. All right, well, I'll go through it. I'll go through it for you since there's still a little, it's not that late yet. You gotta stay down now, though. Come on here with eggs. I don't want hair inside my receiver. All right, come on up here. You want a can? You want a can? Let's get one. Let's get one. How about you eggs? How about eggs? Come on. Come on. Come on. Get down there, eggs. You better get in. She's gonna eat it all if you don't get down there. Oh, have you ever taken yours apart at all? All right, so we're kind of further into the process, but let me zoom this out. I think I can zoom out a little bit more before it'll do that weird thing. That has to be a driver issue with Chrome. So on the side of the lower receiver, where your fire control is, you have your two retaining pins. The back one first, you can just use a round, push it through. And if you just need to clear a jam or something, you can leave the front one connected. So this magwell grip actually keeps it from rotating down further, but without that it will. That's just an add-on piece. It's for comfort for close shooting, point shooting. So you can hold your, I can't get in close enough, but you can hold your mag right here as your grip. But the other one will release the upper receiver. This one up here. Here in your buffer tube, you got a detente pin that will come free, so you got to make sure that you keep an eye on it. But this is your buffer tube. There's a spring in there. That's what cycles the upper receiver. But to move that, you push your buffer tube back and you push that detente down. Just have to be careful because that thing will pop out then. Got to keep an eye on it. I'm not going to pull the whole spring out. I just want the tube out. This pushes back into the buffer tube and runs it back into the spring, and that's what cycles the bolt back forward. So this whole thing is your bolt carrier group. And you don't want your stuff, soaked, and you just want it coated, a late film. Otherwise, it'll tend to collect more dirt and grime. Normal maintenance, it's not necessary to take out the trigger group or anything like that. That little pin that I took out, it's a little cotter pin. That's the retaining pin for your firing pin. And that gets pretty dirty. For this, I'm not. I'm just using the same oil. There's a spray you can buy called CLP. I think it's break free CLP, but it's cleans, lubricates, and protects is what that CLP is for. And it's great to use. You can just douse and let everything drip off and then clean. For the barrel and inside the upper receiver, I'll use like some powder blast, which dissolves gunpowder. I'm of the school of thought that you don't want to be ramming a cleaning rod down your barrel every time you shoot. You want to make sure there's no powder hanging out in there, chunks of powder that might corrode. But the barrels on a mil spec AR-15, the barrel's chrome lined, or like. Oh, I should probably explain this a little bit. Down, you can rotate it and then start working it out. And that's that. Pretty clean. Periodically, you can break this down further. But it's very easy to work on them if you ever have to change your ejector. This you want to be pretty careful with. This is the seal. Well, for the most part, things should fit together well and they should come apart easy. If you're having to really pull on something or use a lot of force, then something is not really cool. And when you put this back together, you got to make sure you can't actually put this in wrong. You have to make sure that you're on the side where these grooves are. This is for the forward assist. So when the bolt opens, that's the side of the rifle that it ejects the cartridges onto. So you want to make sure that your ejector is on that side. If you put it in upside down, it's going to try to eject the shells back into the inside of the receiver. And you're going to have a bad day. Also, be really careful with this. That's what your gas tube goes into, so you don't want to knock that on anything. So that just goes back in, and then rotate it 90 degrees, and you're back in. Ejector's on the right side. Firing pin. And just normal shooting, that's all you really need to do. Unless you've got some kind of malfunction, you're not ejecting properly, you don't have to rip this thing apart all the time. It's better not to, really. And then inside there, so I can get a good angle on the light. That silver tube in there is your gas tube. You definitely don't want to beat that around at all. Good bit of grime in there. All right, charging handle going back in. There's a couple of tabs. So you can't just stick it on the end and ram it in there. It won't go. You have to go in a little bit, drop it in place, and then you can slide it. Baliak, have you ever heard people talk about the forward assist? I've always wondered. I've heard, people say, it doesn't matter. Some people say, oh yeah, you'll harm the. What's the matter, eggs? Like some people say, never to push. To always use the forward assist to lock back in. I've heard both ways. But before I showed you these grooves on the top of the bolt carrier group, they work with the forward assist. My understanding of that was in the early iterations of this rifle, it would jam, you got a little bit of sand in there, and that was there so that you could manually force that bolt forward. So you had a shell that was just almost in. You could use that to get that bolt all the way shut so you could fire and then cycle the rifle. Ejection port cover. Remember that cop that had gotten all that trouble because on the inside of his ejection port cover, it was engraved. It said, "You're fucked." Great thing for a police officer to be running around with. But after he shot that guy, of course, they took the gun in as evidence, and they saw that and they're like, oh boy, great. Excellent. Just what we need. So that's about it for that. I mean, that in regular normal shooting, yeah, you don't want the police running around with stuff like that. Especially after, if they have to do it, you know, to actually use their weapon in the line of duty. You don't really want, you know, Punisher hand grips on your pistols. Judge Dredd, you know. I'll put it back together. I'm just going to bring my hammer back down. Put the front one in first. This is kind of hard to do, to keep it in front of the camera. So if you have a stock like this, it's really easy to get off. It's the lever that you use to adjust the position. If you pull it the opposite way, it brings the pin out so that you can slide the whole thing off, if you ever need to. This is a standard 16. It's just an M4 barrel. These PMags are one of the greatest strikes. If mainly, I think they're going after like suppressors and things like that, though, which aren't illegal. I don't know why they're doing that. As it turned out, I think there was people were more afraid of what YouTube was going to do than what they ended up actually doing. So that's good, anyways. So I got a big one and then a little tiny one. Well, they've got to accept that America is a different country than the rest of the world. We do things a little bit differently here, and they're going to have to deal with it. Oh, that's a good looking chula. Chula gets it. Somebody bought the last one tonight. I had a couple of extra that I cast because I had extra resin, and that's it. They're done. Yeah, this is the master. This is the one that I made all the molds from. But I think it's getting retired. I don't think we're going to be doing any more. Chula's not left-handed. That's ridiculous. No, Chula's a right-handed gunfighter. That I'm sure of. So there's this one that has to go out. This is the one that sold, the last one that sold tonight. And this is the one for Reese, if he will get me an address. He's the guy who drew the original photo, but he's not responded to me for an address. And then, of course, Darth Chula. It's really a throwaway one. It was a bad casting. I tried some of that older resin, and it had a lot of bubbles in it, so I just spray painted it black. It's not good. Garbage. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's really a bad casting. You can probably see some of it. It had a lot of air bubbles. I'll set it off somewhere. I'll take a photo. Second Amendment Chula. Yeah, it'd probably cost like $25. It could go with his lasagna. I need to make a new adjustment plate for this desk lamp. I think that one's gonna break. It's pretty old. You know, the other day I went to go sand something with an orbital sander. It's a Porter Cable orbital sander, pretty standard one. It's a popular tool. I started sanding, and all the rubber in the pad on the bottom just disintegrated into powder. I've been noticing more stuff like this lately, where things that used to last forever are like batteries, that like rubber. I had some foam that was in one of my guitar cases. I went and I touched it, and it just fell apart into dust. Like, you know, they're just making stuff really cheap now. All right, it's 11 o'clock, guys. I'm going to shut this down for the night. I got an early morning and a long-ass day. No stream tomorrow, but I'll be back on Sunday. Get back to work. I'll be working tomorrow, but I just won't be streaming. Oh, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you later. Hey, Plus. We're just shutting it down. Have a good night.